Well, hello, my most lovely family within paganism. It is great to see you. It's been a couple of weeks, and I guess I'm just moving a little slower these days with all that's been going on with me, working on my health and all of that. And I don't want to go into that really heavy right now, but I'm doing okay. I really am. Anyway, we have the harvest moon coming up tomorrow. And I'm sorry I did not get a chance to put together anything real big to do with this. It was just a little bit ago that I was reminded by one of my students that tomorrow is the harvest moon, and I'm like, how can I keep forgetting all of this stuff? And anyway, so I wanted to jump on here and bid you a fond hello, let you know that I'm still around and kicking, and tell you how you could use your time for this, what you could do, what you could put together if you haven't at this time put anything together this far. It is actually the most perfect time to strip all your tools, your jewelry, and your garments. I know, that sounds harsh, doesn't it? But I'm actually very, very serious. Why? Because there is so much garbage that goes on around our lives in the average day. All the people around us, we don't know what kind of energy they'll have, and if they're anywhere in the world, eventually that energy is going to somehow brush over our tools. You know, our tools, no matter how much we try to keep them protected, wrapped in the right place, in our temple place and nowhere else, no matter how much we try, this stuff is going to be contracted to it. It's going to gather that whether we want it or not. And we hold our tools for so much time, and we forget how long it has been since we actually cleansed our tool, cleansed our piece of jewelry, cleansed our crystal stones and rocks at the time we brought them in, and we don't do it again. We just use them and use them. And yes, I know our tools, our rocks and stones, our jewelry, they hold all of that energy that we've been putting into them for years and years. So this can be a very harsh maneuver. But it's a very, very important one because they do have that in it. And you want them to gleam with freshness. You want them to sparkle and shine with only the most positive and light, powerful energy. Why strip them now? Well, tomorrow is the night of the harvest moon. And it is the time during the harvest moon to stick all of this stuff outside in an area where it's subjected to the weather and to the moon. Okay? To where it can gather all of this and regrow its strength that you're going to strip out of it tonight by cleansing and purifying it with ammonia or vinegar. I like to actually use a very strong vinegar and water solution and then rinse it real good after that, you know, and then I like to take a little holy water and I like to sprinkle over it while I say my prayers of purification and consecration. Okay? And then I wrap them back up for the night. And then I'll put them out, or even start going ahead putting them out under the moonlight tonight. You know, but in the morning before the sun really comes up good, gather them up, wrap them back up, and then again tomorrow night on the strongest moon, you want your tools back out there. And I use the hood of my metal hooded vehicle. Metal contracts energy very heavily. And you may even cleanse and purify the hood of your vehicle. Bless your car, bless your truck, or whatever, and get it consecrated so that it won't have, conflicting energies. You don't want that. So, set it on a wooden bench, set it on something wooden, or, like I like to do, set it on a metal vehicle that's been cleansed and purified really, really good, inside and out. And then rest all your tools all along the hood. I did this let's see, 2 or 3 years ago was the last time I did this. But I like to do it periodically because I know that I'll put energy back into it. That is inevitable. As I use my tools, I'm going to re-energize it. That's going to grow back to where it was. But remember, it's also still getting all that negative a lot slower than the positive, as long as you're protecting it in the way that you're supposed to. But we have to pay special attention to our tools, and a lot of us just don't do it as much as we should. So cleanse and purify it with a vinegar water solution, real strong and good, and then rinse it real good so that the vinegar don't tarnish or cause any harm, and then take and blow some sage over it, or puffs of a cigar if you like to use the cigar as in Santeria, and cleanse and purify your tools with not only the vinegar and water solution for the physical cleaning, but the cleansing and purification of holy water following that, and then blowing sage or cigar smoke or whatever over it thereafter. And then you're ready to stick it out in the moonlight. And I would do it tonight, I would do it tomorrow night, and I would do it the night afterward. But no more beyond that, because the moon starts getting too low, and then it'll start taking the energy of your tools rather than giving it anymore. Okay, so, and you want the utmost strength. Okay, now, the night after the harvest moon, or the night you decide to bring it back in, whether you bring them back in and you do no more after tomorrow night's charging, or you do it another night following tomorrow night's charging, on the night that you decide to bring them back in and they've absorbed enough energy, you're going to do a little ceremony on your altar, full erection of the altar and your temple place, and welcome each tool back in, taking it, looking it over, studying it, admiring it, telling it that you know how much it served you and that you appreciate all that it's done, all of its servitude in the time that you've had it, and say, I welcome you back into this temple place or into my altar or blah blah blah, and you rest it back in its natural place. Or if you want to put them into a new place, it's a time to do that. But remember, we are approaching quickly the witches' New Year, which is November 1st. So this is the time to do all of that and to strengthen, all of your tools, all your jewelry, your garments. You can set them out in the elements also the night of. One night is not going to hurt it. 2 nights is not going to hurt anything. As a matter of fact, anything the natural weather does to it, it's nature's effects on things, and it just further shows your faith in that which you do. So this is my best advice to you on how you can go about celebrating the harvest moon that is to come tomorrow. Also, you can do other little things like tea and cakes, or cakes and ale, I'm sorry, whichever way you want to take it, whatever you want to do, during the ceremony where you bring in everything back into, actually what I would do is on the night of the harvest moon, while my stuff is out there in nature's elements, what I would do is celebrational tea and cakes or cakes and ale around my altar, with a couple of candles lit for power, peace and tranquility, and empowerment. Okay? Power among peace type ordeals, new beginnings, fresh starts, black candles fading into light, things of that nature. Any rejuvenations of protections is very, very important to do over this next 3 days, counting tonight, actually. Let's see. So also revitalization of old relationships, people that you generally got into circle with quite often around October, throughout the past. You might want to rejuvenate some of those old relationships, or just make contact with them and say, hey, was thinking about you. And perhaps even get a little circle together of those people that you've worked with in the past and haven't seen in a while, or even have, for that matter. But this is a time for celebration, just as any other major holiday. And I would use this harvest moon to the best of my ability. And the main thing is get your tools stripped and cleansed and purified, and then rejuvenated, re-empowered and charged, and welcomed back into your altar place. Protections, because a lot of people are throwing around magic at this time, and there's a lot of negative flack coming from people of other religions to ours at this point in time. So do all of this and you'll find yourself a lot happier year for it. Do a protection spell. Do works where you don't need all of your tools to be handy, because they'll be out there charging up, and you need that to happen. Okay? Do works where it doesn't actually need these. Maybe come in while those are charging out there and do a renewal, a reconstitution of your beliefs with a meeting with the higher power. This is a good thing to do. Take tea and cakes with the gods and goddesses and say, join me here on this time. I want to rededicate myself to you. Put yourself on a year and a day pathway. It's the witch's new year, or very quickly to come. And it is a great time to do that. Ending that year and a day pathway, say on November, or actually October the 31st of next year. You know, and it'll be slightly more than a year and a day. But, you know, you could do a certain amount of time from here to the time of the 31st. Say a walk, you know, leading up to your year and a day onset. You know, I mean, be creative. It's pretty simple to come up with things that'll make you feel a lot more empowered. Like, do a month of self-cleansing and purification, where you're going into meditation and mediation with a higher power, off and on throughout this, now till the 31st, you know. But anyway, you know, that's all for, you know, for you to come up with on your own. Mainly, I just wanted to give you the heads up on what you could do if you haven't put anything together this far for the harvest moon tomorrow. Also, I would like to tell you that if you're not doing all this other stuff, or if you are and you have backup tools that you could use all the while, or if you want to do these things directly following the time you welcome your tools back in, here are ideas. Do things that bring money and finances. Do things that help internal growth, new beginnings, and fresh starts. Do things to rejuvenate old relationships that have kind of fluttered away or have just soured. Do things to reconstitute yourself into your higher power. Realign yourself with deities that you haven't called to in a long period of time. Take walks and journeys. Astral project, you know, but be careful, because it's easy to fall into the other sides of the veil at this particular time, since the veils are so thin at this point in time. Just always have faith in yourself, and you can't fail, and nothing can really touch you. Just remember that while your tools are being cleansed and purified, and your jewelry and all of that likewise, you don't really want to do anything where you have to make sure you are well protected, or things that could be dangerous, because you're kind of short a few friends, you know, when your tools aren't handy. Okay? So here are some ideas for you, and I hope that it's been of a help to you. Sorry I didn't get this out to you a day or two in advance. I really have been going through a lot health-wise. I'm doing okay and holding my own. I really do hope things get better soon. Alright, well, you take care of yourself, and I love you. Bless you all. I really do miss talking to you as much as I was before. And we'll get back on track, all right? Bless your merry bones. Love and hold you dear in my heart still and evermore. Take care of yourself and merry part. Bye-bye.